Hi again, we're the Hot Pot Collective, and we perceive design as a big communal practice with a strong ethical and public conscience. We aim to create logical and productive contributions to communities and offer a multidisciplinary set of skills to deepen our outcomes, developing locally based strategies to potentially benefit our socially engaged design projects. Our team comprises of members from different parts of the globe, including Paulo, who's operating from London, Elaine from Jakarta, Indonesia, Mars from Singapore, and me, Stella, presenting to you from Shanghai. And for today's final presentation, we present to you Instaurare, the heart-to-heart grocery service that embodies currency and care, whilst allowing you to curate a hyper-local grocery shopping experience, tailored specifically just for you and your homesick needs. Stemming from a post-pandemic breakout and the footfall around high streets, Instaurare is Latin for to establish or to set up, which allowed us to express our ambition to help communities rejuvenate by reclaiming neglected spaces in a post-pandemic society. To fulfill this objective of ours, our final proposal consists of various mediums, including a design guide and the digital support system. Here, we take you through the process of coming up with a guide, starting from the brief around 15-minute cities and social value. We focused on the local grocery store as a space in which the money stays in the community. After researching and observing the local stores in our own respective areas, we found that the main ideas around community were currency and care. In this case, the community around the local grocery store involves the customers, store owners, and workers. Examples of ways that currency and care are expressed includes spending money to support small businesses instead of large corporations, buying things for loved ones, following social distancing and mask-wearing rules, as well as using the grocery store as a safe space or something to look forward to visiting. From our observations, we noticed that there is a problem when you want to support people in your community through currency, since, because of the pandemic, our cities have compressed into 15-minute walks for everyone's safety, leaving us with a small radius of action that we can interact with, leaving some businesses that we depend on or that we want to support financially out of our reach. We also noticed that a problem faced by local grocery store owners was that there is not enough space to accommodate all their products, as the shops are usually small and need to carry many items in order to increase profit margins. This also creates a problem for customers, as navigating the store is challenging since the walkways are cramped and disorganized.
We decided the best way to accommodate the spatial needs and make the shopping process smoother was through the concept of dark stores. Dark stores are becoming more popular in the pandemic as they are essentially closed-down stores that turned into mini warehouses to fulfill demand of delivery and pickup options. They have been mainly adapted by large corporations, thus to adapt this concept to local grocery stores, we decided to propose the idea of a shared community dark store. This would operate as a regular dark store in which its purpose would be to fulfill the demand of its customers and provide a safe shopping alternative, but it would be a shared space amongst different local grocery stores in the same area to reduce costs. In this way, these stores would be able to compete with larger businesses, again reinforcing the ideas of caring for small businesses by buying from them instead. After feedback, we realized that the original concept of a dark store was lacking in community interaction, so we decided to implement a storefront in which customers can interact with. Since our team is based in 4 different countries, we try to combine our international design knowledge with our research to create a design guide for our revamped dark store, which could be applicable in any part of the world. However, in order to specify this project, we used Deptford Market Yard in London as our model and testing location. The design guide is meant to help local store owners build community dark stores as a way to benefit their area. By allowing small businesses to compete with large corporations, customers get to have a more unique and personal shopping experience. The guide has 8 sections: Introduction, the guide, working together, layout design, job roles, considerations and customizations, further resources, and a conclusion. The content is all based on research we have done in the past about grocery shopping experience and how the pandemic has changed that. They are organized chronologically in the steps that you would take when building a community dark store, so as to allow store owners to use this guide as a sort of checklist of things to interpret and apply. After introducing the guide and concept, the section called Working Together refers to the building of relationships with other stores and how this project will rely on that foundation. Although the guide is for store owners, it is mainly for them to provide a service for customers, so this section also highlights the importance of working with the community to help the community. It is important to note here that the dark store is not a solution for everyone, as the product overlap needs to be small enough so that there is variety, but big enough to complement each other. With the foundation set, it is time to move on to the actual physicality of the project. The layout and design is extremely important, as this was one of the motivating factors for creating this guide, due to many local stores not having the luxury of space like large chains do. We also tried to stress the importance of working with what you have, as this is partially about reviving high streets, revamping a closed space, and giving it a new temporary purpose. This portion of the guide is divided into the warehouse storage area and the storefront, basically having one focus on the worker and the other with the customer experience. To engage the neighborhood, we recommend adding installments to the front of the store, whether that is painting windows or even adding things to the sidewalk that allows for community interaction. This is another opportunity for owners to show your support for the community.
Following the physical layout suggestion section is the people, discussing what workers are essential to run Instaurare, as well as the terms and conditions that come with it. There are roles which revolve around the store's organization, and some roles which will depend on the business choice of service, like delivery, pickup, online retail, etc. We recommend choices that will be the most beneficial for building community relationships, but this will depend on the store owner's budget. The next section is all about local store owners using this guide as a base, allowing them to add customizations to their respective spaces. This includes building a brand identity through things like packaging, store aesthetics, social media presence, and other methods. We reiterate here that this guide is not simply about business and profits, but also how to show a community representative touches. For owners who carry on with their projects, there is a further resources section that includes some of the research we used to create the guide, which go more in depth into specific subjects. Finally, the end of the guide has a conclusion about the social values of Instaurare, giving readers an insight into our process and purpose. As the project model is Deptford in Lewisham, we decided to adapt the borough's color into the design of the guide, blue and white. In order to bring about a sense of community and cohesion, we took inspiration from fruit stickers and storefront banners, especially those with a hyper-local design, as a way to call back to the market yards of London. Next, the graphics between the text are there as visual support, as well as to break up the long paragraph so as to not overwhelm the reader.
Here we have the digital support system for Instaurare, which we created as a functional website. Conveying the journey that customers take was a very important aspect for us. Hence, we tried to showcase the interconnectedness of each individual local shop via the design of the front page. The idea was to allow visitors to virtually interact with the digital high street and stores participating in the project, whilst visually recreating the aesthetic of Deptford Market Yard. By clicking on the main title of Instaurare, this leads to a brief description of the project, outlining why we decided to undertake it and what makes it different from other online grocery stores. The 4 local grocery shops listed in the site are Entire Foods, Fruits Worldwide, Yap Oriental, and The Snack House, all of which are fictional due to copyright concerns. However, they are loosely based on real-life local stores, of which our group has exhaustively observed in our research.
Each store is carefully curated to ensure a lack of competition, as well as to provide a widely diverse array of difficult-to-obtain products in London to consumers, which can be seen as I scroll through the 4 different pages. Another detail to note is that the icons at the bottom of each door correspond to the contents of the store. Moving on to logistics, at the top left of the website are 4 navigational buttons: Contact, which leads to our collective's email, Location, Collective, and Cart. This digital support system is tailored towards the region of Deptford, but the website can be adjusted in accordance to location. In this page, we briefly outline the area of the physical warehouse and shopfront, as well as provide a map for customer reference. Here, we discuss information about the Hot Pot Collective, just as a quick introduction to our branding. The last page in this website is the cart page, where customers can select between click and collect at store location or home delivery. Please note that this is a mock-up and there is no cart or checkout functionality as of yet due to it requiring additional payment. Instaurare's website is thus meant to bring up feelings of uniqueness and community, as if there is physical harmony between participating shops, whilst trying to emulate the intimacy of interaction between worker and consumer. If you would like to browse through the website, we will link it below in the chat.
As previously mentioned, Instaurare is designed with the consideration of an international audience. However, for this presentation, we decided to focus on the area of Deptford, specifically locating it within the Deptford Market Yard. The arches of these high street shops were thus integrated into specific icons such as the website, as well as these isometric view graphics mapping out the journey of taking one of these shop spaces and transforming it into a community dark store. We looked at actual shops in the market, such as Little Nan's, as a reference for both the guide and the graphics. In the creation of this project, we tried to keep our keywords of currency and care in mind through the design. During the early parts of research and observation, a large part of our process was the consideration of the journey, whether it was the physical journey that we took walking through our local grocery stores or the metaphorical journey of our thought processes. We collectively visualize these thoughts and concepts through the mini comic on screen. Thus, when designing Instaurare, we focus on the relationship between the guide and the store owner and the consumer, as well as our project and the local community. This is what we term as the consumer journey. To conclude, we use different mediums for design, like the website or like the design guide, in order to show ways to care for our community. Center ourselves around the local grocery store as a space and focusing on how it has transformed due to the pandemic. Showing emotion-based acts through financial support is a prime example of the relationship between currency and care. It is through this project that we rediscover the social value of a space. It does not disappear, but rather it can be revived and transformed. In other words, we also made that.